Okay, I have sample question, short question one from the 2020 samples. And we have a graph that looks something like this. It's set up like a grid in more detail. But this is really all that comes into play. It's just a basic graph. We've got a relatively inelastic demand curve, which will be helpful later, uh, and a regular supply curve. And the first question is calculate the total producer surplus at the market equilibrium price and quantity show your work. Well, the price is 20, okay? The equilibrium quantity is 20. What is the producer surplus? Remember, C.S. Lewis up top, P.S. is always on the bottom of a letter, right? P.S. producer surplus. So this triangle here, and this is 0, which will be important, we got to figure out the area of that triangle. Okay, area of a triangle. It's nice when geometry comes in handy. Is 1/2 base times height. So 20 is the base times the going across. The altitude would be 20, or either way, you could do it. This as the base and this times the height. But regardless, 1/2 20 times 20. The producer surplus is going to be 200. Okay. All right. Let's see if it asks you to explain. It just says show your work. Okay. So do 1/2 20 times 20. Just you don't want to miss out on an easy point. If they say show your work, you know, sometimes they just say what is the value, just put down the number. Show what the value is means you probably have to show your work. Okay. Expect math calculations on this exam because you aren't going to have to create any graphs, so they got to put that work somewhere. So there's going to be calculations. We'll get into elasticity later in the video, but expect that. And expect them to give you graphs like this to analyze. Okay. If the government imposes a price floor at $16, is there a shortage, a surplus, or neither? Explain. Okay, so here the explanation is important. If the price floor is at 16, okay, well that's below equilibrium. An effective price floor, remember, is above equilibrium. So a price floor at $16 has no impact, okay, on the market because it does not interfere with the $20 equilibrium price. Okay, so the answer to that one would be there would be neither a shortage or a surplus. And you put for your explanation, an effective price floor would have to have a price above the equilibrium price to have an impact. Part C, okay, well, if you got that one, you're set up nicely for the next one. If instead the government imposes a price ceiling at $12, that would do something. Is there a shortage or a surplus or neither? Ooh, I can touch the ceiling, but normally I can't. Remember, a shortage, ceiling, shortage. I'm short of the ceiling. Okay, even at my current height of 6'7", I'm a little concerned because I've been shrinking a little bit over the years, and I'm only 6'6.5" now. But I am short of the ceiling shortage. Okay. Curious George, right, makes too much popcorn. The surplus ends up on the floor. Floor, surplus, ceiling, shortage. Okay. And those are going to be easy points for you. Explain. It doesn't ask you to calculate anything. Well, if there's an effective price floor at $12, well, what's going to happen is producers are not going to be willing to produce as much, and that's going to create the shortage. Okay, so we're going to be here on the supply curve. If instead the government restricts market output to 10 units, calculate the dead weight loss, show your work. So it doesn't matter how they restrict output to 10 units. If they restrict output to 10 units by taxes or quotas or whatever, well, now we're here. This is our allocatively efficient quantity. This is our region of dead weight loss or efficiency loss. So again, we have area of a triangle. I don't know if that's what their plan is, to have a lot of area of triangle questions, but here, this is actually on the graph 10, which is going to be important. So this is $10 at a quantity of 10. This is $40 up here, and then this is at 20 and 20. So the area of this triangle is, well, from here to here is what? That is 10. So that's going to be the height of the triangle, or altitude. Here is our base, which is 30. So 1/2 30 times 10 is 150. Okay, so the dead weight loss would be 150. If they're saying show your work, it just means show the math. Okay, you have to show each thing. Just show, okay, 1/2 times 30 times 10. Okay, they know that if you set it up that way, that will equal 150. Assume the price decreases from $20 to $12. Calculate the price elasticity of demand. All right, so price elasticity of demand. Remember, price always goes on the bottom. Money always is the bottom line, goes on the bottom. If it's income elasticity of demand, income goes on the bottom. All the other elasticities, cross elasticity of demand, cross elasticity of supply, okay. Income elasticity of demand, everything, price is on the bottom. So that's percent change quantity demanded over percent change of price. It's not change in quantity over change in price, it's percent change. So percent change is original minus new over original. So the percent change of quantity demand is 20 minus 24. It went from here to here. Okay. We already know this is the inelastic portion of the demand curve. So that's what it's likely going to be, the value. Okay. But we went from a price of 20 down to a price of 12, from a quantity of 20 to a quantity of 24. So 20 minus 24 over 20 over 20 minus 12 over 20. Original price minus new price over the original price. I get negative 0.2 over 0.4, which equals negative 0.5. Remember, price elasticity of demand only uses absolute value, but that is the most important type of elasticity. And 0.5 is less than 1, so it's relatively inelastic. If this value came up equal to 1, okay, unlikely but possible, be unit elastic, and greater than 1 is elastic. Now, questions that aren't on this, these are all the sample questions, but again, we're not taking this test. We're taking the one on Wednesday or Thursday. What are some things that they could ask? They could ask consumer surplus. In order to do that, they would have to give us this full value up here, let's say $60. And then I'd calculate the value of this big chief triangle here. Okay. They could ask, in this region, where would total revenue increase or decrease if the price decreased? Well, we're in the inelastic region, so if price decreased, then total revenue would decrease. If we're way up here, and let's say we're in an elastic region and price decreased, then total revenue would increase. Remember Saltrapo 9-traps, they love the total revenue test. Okay, that if it's inelastic, price and total revenue go in the same direction. Okay, if it's elastic, price and total revenue go in opposite directions. Okay, and if it's unit elastic, a change in price will not have an impact on total revenue. Knowing AP like I do, they're probably gonna do something with unit elastic because they know elastic, they know inelastic with total revenue test. I would look for something like that. Okay, uh, so like it's all things that we've covered. They also might say, if I put in a price floor above equilibrium, what would the impact be? And if I put a price ceiling above equilibrium, again, an effective price ceiling is supposed to be below equilibrium, so an effective price ceiling above equilibrium has no impact on the market. Okay, sehr gut.